No one event or person caused the First World War. But there is a single man who symbolizes the instability that brought it about. He was Germany's bombastic, mercurial Kaiser Wilhelm II.
All of you know nothing. I alone know something. I alone decide.
Wilhelm wanted to be seen as the embodiment of the German warrior tradition. But his public posturing was a masquerade. For Wilhelm, ruler of a nation that prized physical perfection, had a withered left arm.
It created the need in Wilhelm to impress his army and his people with the most dashing external demeanor possible, with uniforms and medals, with the marshal's baton in his outstretched right arm.
The injury occurred at birth. A breech delivery had required the use of forceps, wrenching his left arm out of its socket and causing permanent muscle and nerve damage. Wilhelm's parents tried to hide his handicap, hoping doctors could restore the useless limb. The treatments, from electric shock to a special neck brace, had little effect on the arm, but a deep effect on Wilhelm.
The only result was that I was made to suffer great torture.
What science could not do, Wilhelm's parents hoped discipline would, in the form of their son's tutor, Dr. Georg Hinspeter. When teaching Wilhelm the skills essential to a future German king, Hinspeter made no allowances for his pupil's disability.
When the prince was 8 years old, a lackey still had to lead his pony by the rein, because his balance was so bad that his unsteadiness caused intolerable anxiety to himself and others. It had to be overcome, no matter what the cost. Therefore, I set the weeping prince on his horse, without stirrups, and compelled him to go through the various paces. He fell off continually. Every time, despite his prayers and tears, I lifted him up and set him upon its back again. After weeks of torture, the difficult task was accomplished. He got his balance.
Not all of Wilhelm's childhood memories were unpleasant. His mother was the eldest daughter of Britain's Queen Victoria. And the times he spent in England, at his grandmother's seaside estate on the Isle of Wight, were among the happiest of his life. Here he delighted in skirmishing with his British cousins in the trenches of a model fort built especially for the royal children. And here he began a lifelong obsession with the sea and the great British battleships that ruled the waves.
I had a peculiar passion for the Navy. It sprang to no small extent from my English blood. When, as a little boy, I was allowed to visit Portsmouth and Plymouth, I admired the proud English ships. There awoke in me the wish to build ships of my own like these someday. And when I was grown up, to possess as fine a navy as the English.
At 18, despite his handicap, the heir to the throne entered the army. There, Wilhelm declared, he found his true home and family.
Before I entered the regiment, I had lived through such fearful years of unappreciation of my nature. The officer corps provided me with joy and happiness and contentment on earth.
I think that the Kaiser's personality, the aggressive, bombastic, thrusting nature of his personality had to do with the arm. He was compensating. You didn't laugh at a German emperor with a crippled arm who had the most powerful army in the world and who could remove you from a throne by snapping his fingers if he wanted to.
In the army, Wilhelm's wardrobe contained some 200 uniforms. He delighted in war games, but demanded that his side always win. Queen Victoria now found her grandson insufferable and suggested that he would benefit from a good spanking. Wilhelm's uncle, the Prince of Wales, was even harsher. He is a bully, he declared, who needs to know we are living at the end of the 19th century and not the Middle Ages.
You've got to imagine a man who has all kinds of terrible complexes. He wants, in a sense, to be as big a figure on the world stage as his British cousins. He wants to be as striking and impressive a political figure. To some extent, the Kaiser, I think, is cut off from reality.
There were sound reasons for his British relatives to worry about Wilhelm. The German Empire had only come into being in 1871, following a series of wars. Since then, the German Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck, had used a system of alliances to keep Germany at peace. The key, Bismarck said, was always to be in a majority of 3 in any dispute among the 5 great European powers: Germany, France, Austria-Hungary, Britain, and Russia. Determined, above all, not to be surrounded, Bismarck extended a hand of friendship to Britain, Russia, and even France, a traditional rival. But in 1888, after his father's untimely death, Wilhelm, at age 29, was crowned Emperor of Germany. One of his first acts was to send Bismarck into retirement.
The Kaiser felt that he represented the new Germany. Quite where Germany was going to go, he didn't know, but he was going to go there. When he took over from Bismarck, he made the famous statement, "The course remains the same, full speed ahead." They hadn't the faintest idea in what direction it was going to go, but full speed ahead.
Wilhelm quickly began upsetting Bismarck's delicate balance of power. His announcement that Germany would build a world-class navy to rival Britain's turned a potential ally into a potential enemy. The threat from his army, Europe's most powerful, resulted in Russia and France drawing closer together. Soon, the Kaiser was in a minority of 2. He could only count on one ally, the aged Emperor of Austria-Hungary, Franz Joseph. But Austria was the most fragile of the 5 great powers, barely able to contain order among the multitudes of ethnic groups inside its borders. Now Germany was surrounded, and as insecure as its ruler.